Good evening and welcome to the Diamond Newsdesk at 8. We bring you stories that have featured on our DiamondTVZambia.com website. You can also follow us on Diamond TV Online on Facebook as well as Diamond TV Zambia on X. Do stay tuned for the headlines. Leading stories this evening. Lopula man murdered by colleague after confrontation over brother's 20 kwacha debt. Former President Edgar Lungu's family seeks costs from Zambian government over cancelled South Africa burial. And later on, Zika criticizes land law changes, warns of investor flight and credit market disruption. Good evening. Throughout the day, we have cooked up a storm with a selection of stories sieving through what we believe is of interest to you. My name is Tepo Ngoma with the headlines and details in these stories on the Diamond News Desk at 8. Our first story this evening. The family of former President Edgar Lungu is seeking a cost order against the Zambian government in the South African High Court over the cancellation of his planned burial in South Africa on June 25th, 2025. According to the family's latest submissions, the burial was called off after the Zambian government filed an urgent court application on the same day seeking the repatriation of Mr. Lungu's body to Zambia. They have argued that the government's last-minute intervention caused significant emotional and financial distress, warranting a punitive cost order. The Lungu family says they were forced to abandon funeral arrangements which had already incurred costs for services including the funeral home, venue hire, transport, clergy, and security. They have further argued that the expenses were in line with the late president's wishes and undertaken under the family's lawful authority. Meanwhile, the Zambian government has maintained its stance on repatriating Mr. Lungu's body, a move the family wants the court to dismiss.
The ongoing legal battle between the family of former President Edgar Lungu and the Zambian government in South Africa over the repatriation and burial of Mr. Lungu. The family seeking a cost order on an attorney and client scale, including costs for two legal representatives. The Lungu family argues that such an order is justified due to the Zambian government's conduct, particularly the fact that according to its own replying affidavit, the government was aware by June 18, 2025 at the latest that the body would not be returned to Zambia. They contend that the government should have filed its application by Friday, June 20th, 2025, instead of waiting until June 25th, the scheduled burial date. The family says they were compelled to cancel funeral arrangements, including financial losses on payment to the funeral home, venue, transport providers, clergy, and security personnel. These expenses, they argue, were made in line with Mr. Lungu's final wishes and their lawful authority to proceed. The government's last-minute intervention, they say, not only wasted those resources, but also caused severe emotional distress to former First Lady Esther Lungu, the children, and other close relatives. The Lungu family further alleges that the government displayed a lack of urgency and good faith in handling Mr. Lungu's death, only to later fabricate urgency for tactical reasons. The family also claims that the government breached a consent order by filing an ex parte application on July 2nd, 2025 without notice. This application, they say, was based on false statements regarding the obligation of the funeral parlor. Additionally, the family argues that if the court finds a valid agreement exists It should be declared void due to material misrepresentations by the Zambian government during negotiations, in affidavits and in public statements. One such alleged misrepresentation was that President Hakainde Hichilema would not be involved in the funeral, a condition they say was central to any agreement. They claim they relied on this assurance in good faith, only to later discover it was untrue. The government has now stated that it is impossible to exclude President Hichilema from the burial of his predecessor. The Lungu family is seeking declaratory relief through their counter-application to protect their dignity, autonomy, and the right to bury their relative according to his wishes and their shared values. The Pretoria High Court is expected to make a final legal decision on the matter on August 4th, 2025. Dara John, Diamond News.
In a sad turn of events, a 41-year-old man of Chifunabuli district in Luapula province, Lamek Mulele, has been murdered by his colleague following a dispute over a 20 kwacha debt owed by his brother from the sale of a duck. According to reports, the altercation began when Mulele questioned why the suspect, identified as Lisha Mwendi, wanted to kill his elder brother over such a small amount, pointing out that he himself was owed even more money by the same person. The confrontation that took place at a local drinking spot turned violent when the accused became agitated and kicked the now deceased in the throat, followed by a second kick to the ribs and a punch to the nose, killing him instantly. The deceased wife has told Diamond News that the suspect showed no remorse, even though his family later ordered to cover the funeral costs.
A shocking incident has left residents of Chifunabuli district in Luapula province in disbelief. A man in his 50s allegedly killed a 41-year-old Lamek Mulele over a 20 kwacha debt from the sale of a duck, a dispute that quickly turned deadly. The two were drinking at a local drinking spot when tensions suddenly flared.
The
suspect went to a named drinking spot, uttering intentions to kill the deceased elder brother if he failed to settle the bill. That's when the deceased asked why he would do such a thing when he owed his son so much money than he was demanding. It was at that moment that the suspect kicked him in the throat. The family is shocked and devastated by the incident. They say Mwendi showed no remorse, although his family later offered to pay for the funeral. His way of life was peaceful, and he was our provider. For Mulele's wife, this tragedy is more than a loss. It's a heavy burden. She now faces the daunting task of caring for their 9 children alone. The suspect had intentions of killing someone, as per his utterances on that day, and in the end, he did. Police have since arrested the suspect, who remains in custody as investigations continue. The family now awaits post-mortem results to confirm the cause of the death. Kalombe Kapambwe, Damo News.
A worsening sanitation crisis at Nakatindi Market in Livingston has left traders without clean water or a functional ablution facility, forcing some to resort to open defecation. During a visit to the market, Diamond News observed disturbing scenes that pose serious health risks. Livingston City Council spokesperson Melvin Mukela has acknowledged the issue, but says progress depends on local prioritization of sanitation infrastructure through the Constituency Development Fund. We would like to warn our sensitive viewers that the clip you're about to see may be disturbing.
You wouldn't expect to find human waste where food is sold, but at Livingston's Nakatindi market, that is the reality. This market, where fresh vegetables and a variety of relish is traded daily, is grappling with more than just business challenges. Traders operate under a makeshift shelter, but what is missing is even more basic: clean water and a toilet.
Manje market za survivor bwanji because market ifunika toilet ifunika manzi na shelter kuti vantu vazigulisa mushemushe because timapokeza abantu vambiri timaswavisa mwana hazambia ku market yebonala chwana aluzana mama market amamu abonala andi ye market ya kale ya Nakatindi kono lukomokirao sese yazala kono Nakatindi.
Despite repeated cries for help, many feel their pleas have fallen on deaf ears.
Shelter tilibe kozapa mweka ngochara soka zuwa ma eggs au nongekana kazuba ati sa shati yako shelter ba government katalizirako bisizabo ononza mwa tomata yanka ma damage
timaenda kukanso kama tipolomi sauti bazati mangila toilet tumaendako kama kambano bakalibo tu fundinga so kaya alionse wanga titandizile kutimangira toilet.
With no proper facilities, some people are now turning empty stalls into makeshift toilets, raising serious public health concerns. Melvin Mukela is Livingston City Council Public Relations Manager.
So let Nakatindi community take advantage of CDF and be able to apply. Possibly they do that, it means that next year the issue of water, the issue of ablution block, the issue of market shelter will be a thing of the past, because these things will be made available to them.
For now, the sanitation crisis remains right in the heart of the market. Gabriel Josias, Mova, Diamond News, Southern Zambia.
Let's push through the crust of some of these leading stories this evening. The Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants, ZICA, has raised strong objections to a key provision in the proposed Lands and Deeds Registry Amendment Bill number 13 of 2025. Speaking during a press briefing in Lusaka on Tuesday, ZICA President Yande Mwenye warns the bill poses serious risks of property rights, investment security, and access to credit. Ms. Mwenye says while acknowledging the government's efforts to address long-standing issues in land administration, such as multiple titles and fraudulent allocations, ZICA has expressed deep concern over a clause that empowers the Chief Registrar of Lands to cancel land titles without a court order. Meanwhile, ZICA has advocated for strategic reforms in borrowing the tax policy to safeguard economic stability, citing adverse effects on investor confidence and operational readiness of financial institutions under the proposed turnover tax regimes.
The Lands and Deeds Registry Amendment Bill number 13 of 2025 has continued to face mounting opposition from professional bodies, civil society and political stakeholders, all warning that it poses serious threats to land security, property rights and investment confidence in Zambia. The Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants has joined those in opposition, expressing deep concern over a controversial provision in the bill that grants the Chief Registrar of Lands sweeping powers to cancel certificates of title without a court order. While the measure is intended to tackle fraudulent land allocations and double titling, ZICA President Yande Mwenye warns it risks legal uncertainty, reduces property values, and undermines the use of land as collateral for credit.
The ability to unilaterally cancel land titles may lead to perceived or actual impairment of property rights. This could reduce the market value of affected properties, especially if buyers fear future title disputes or revocation. For commercial landowners, especially in the agriculture, manufacturing, or real estate sectors, this could disrupt operations and reduce the economic utility of land assets. From a financial reporting perspective, land is considered to have an infinite life and as such not depreciable. However, the uncertainty behind ownership could seriously debunk this principle. Thirdly, the use of property as collateral. Secure land titles or deeds are used around the world as collateral for loans, such as mortgages. The bill's provisions could erode lender confidence, making banks and financial institutions more cautious in accepting land and buildings as security.
Zika is calling on the government to halt the legislative process and engage in wide consultations with key stakeholders including banks, legal bodies and the general public before proceeding.
As Zika, we request the government to halt and withdraw the legislative process and consult all stakeholders, these being the banks and financial lending institutions, the Law Association of Zambia, business owners, the general citizenry, and of course, Zika.
The legal bill has already sparked widespread criticism on social media and triggered a wave of formal objections, with stakeholders urging a complete overhaul of the proposed amendments to ensure transparency, legal fairness, and protection of land rights for all Zambians. Ray Chomumba for Diamond News.
You're watching the Diamond News Desk at 8 with me, Tapiwa Ngoma. Up next, a dash of weather to help you prepare for tomorrow. Thereafter, we've got some dessert coming up with the business news led by my colleague Cosmas Chongo Mulenga. I'll be back after that with more stories that are making headlines on the Diamond News Desk. Bon appetit.
Business News is brought to you by Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank. Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank, making tomorrow possible.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Business News Update tonight on the Diamond News Desk at 8. Here are the stories making headlines. Tomato prices surge in Solwezi amid production, disease wars. And PICZ targets 1 million Zambians under Airtel insurance. Later on, we'll take a look at the money markets, some commodity prices for the construction, as well as food and non-food items. All this coming up tonight in business. Let's now get into the details of our business news update tonight. Tomato farmers in Solwezi district have expressed concerns over the rising prices of tomatoes on the local markets, attributing the increase to reduced production levels caused by inadequate disease control measures. According to a local farmer, Apollosis Sitabe, the persistent plant diseases, notably bacterial wilt and early blight, which have severely compromised crop yields, have marred the current season. Mr. Sitabe says a lack of effective disease management strategies has led to a significant drop in tomato output, thereby creating a supply shortfall that has driven prices upward. Now, in addition, marketeers and consumers have noted the price surge, with a box of tomatoes now fetching between 500 kwacha and 650 kwacha, twice the price compared to the previous month. Here are the details.
Tomato farmers in Solwezi district are raising concerns over the recent spike in tomato prices, attributing the increase to low production levels amidst inadequate disease control measures. A check by Diamond Media at Solwezi Main Market found farmers selling a box of tomato between 500 kwacha and 650 kwacha, which farmers say is caused by the outbreak of diseases that have gone largely unchecked.
Tomato hapa inashita kwati zise inativutako matenda napaka. So hapa ichita sometimes hapa kako ngana hapa mozi ipakako. But tomato ichi iwo nikamonga sinapake maningi hapa matenda ndio anatirengesa. Tikambe timonga lero tomato yambira mu 650 kubora pansi kubora na 500 alimu ma 400 alimu. Ya ikapaka mushemushe yambira ma 400 na ma 300.
Other farmers have expressed frustration over the lack of effective disease management strategies, which they say has severely impacted their harvests.
So my farmers wambiri wali malosi wambiri tomato yamene muona pano ni ngono than yamene sara kuma farmers kuma farm yamene sara kuma farm ni ambiri iwonongeka then mankwala akalibo pezeka wasakana meboza ti mankwala aliko neni kalibo wapeza problem yamene nona mu government nyakuti waliko ma extension office but iswange na ma farmers kubwera utiona tili mabwanji wali seated ma offices yao. The
scarcity of tomatoes has led to increased prices in local markets, affecting consumers and vendors alike.
So bafama nabadurisha tomato babweshe kona ifu at least tureshi kona ifu bwino nozire durafe pamuru profit bonse barese so ifu turechura bana marketia
imitengo shili papa big mine na start dura sana mwaishiba so manje as a customer nga wasashita tomato box mule start 650 so manje profit taide ranga sana nomba ya time twalesta kwa 450 tuwesanga mu profit 300 nomba pa manje apa tuwesanga mu profit 50 kwa so manje apa taide base mwamona te.
As the situation unfolds, farmers call on relevant authorities to intervene promptly to prevent further losses and stabilize tomato prices in the district. Mlenga Bwalia, Diamond News, Solwezi, Northwestern Province.
Well, now PICZ, which is Professional Insurance Corporation Zambia, has announced an ambitious target to insure 1 million Zambians by 2027 through strategic partnerships with Airtel Zambia. Now, speaking during the joint district partnership launch in Lusaka, PICZ Managing Director, and this is Moza Siame, says the insurance sector continues to face slow penetration despite its importance. He has cited challenges such as limited awareness, income levels, cultural norms and accessibility as key barriers. And Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati, who officiated at the event, emphasized the role of innovation on improving lives rather than solely driving profits. Let's get more details.
For years, insurance has been called complicated, product of the few, and a product that is too far away. But from today, it will be known as simple, mobile, and for everyone. Despite its significance, the insurance sector continues to experience low penetration rates owing to many factors such as lack of awareness, income levels, cultural norms, and accessibility. It is for this reason that Professional Insurance Corporation Zambia, Airtel Zambia, and Insure Technologies have partnered to bring mobile-based insurance closer to every Zambian citizen. PICZ Managing Director Moses Siame says the limited reach to traditional insurance distribution remains a significant barrier to uptake.
We are indeed setting the pace as professional insurance. Our target is to insure 1 million Zambians by 2027 in this partnership. I'm happy that this partnership addresses the accessibility barrier and will most certainly improve uptake, especially for personal lines. This collaboration enables us to achieve three main things. Number one, to reach the unreached. by taking insurance products to the masses that would ordinarily not have any knowledge of insurance and its benefit will be reaching the masses.
Where innovation must serve our people and not just the profit margins of Airtel, PICZ, and InsurTech. It must serve our people. Technology must be about transforming and making life easy for our people. Technology must remain as a building block that changes people's lives.
Meanwhile, Airtel Money Director Andrew Chuma says insurance is not just a product for the privileged, it is a safety net for every individual and family.
To empower every Zambian by expanding access, promoting security, and driving digital financial inclusion nationwide. At the heart of Airtel Money is you, the customer. The partnership is not about the technology alone, it is about people. Every aspect of our service is designed with you, the customer, in mind.
People are just an accident away on their journey to swim into the deep waters of poverty. This is concerning, especially that while every one of us or every other person can have this calamity, and people find their footing away to get back to where they were. But it's more challenging for the people that we are seeking to cover today, people that are financially excluded.
This collaboration is a clear demonstration of sustainable development goal number 9. We, Airtel, PICZ, and Insure are increasing access to insurance services and integrating insurance in various economic value chains.
The partnership's initial product lineup launched includes motor third-party insurance, motor comprehensive, local travel insurance, and house insurance, all available on mobile phones. Rachel Mumba for Diamond News.
Well, those are the business news stories we have for you today on the Business News Update tonight. But now, let's take a look at the money market. Well, for the money markets today, the 29th of July 2025, this is how much, the United States dollar was buying and selling at by end of business day today. As the end of business day today came to an end, or the day came to an end, it was buying at 23 kwacha 3 ngwe, 0.3 ngwe, and it was selling at 23 kwacha 41 ngwe. This is the average commercial rates for the two, the currencies for Zambian kwacha as well as the United States dollar. But now let's take a look at the construction commodities. Well, for the construction commodities today, we're taking a look at a hand drill, multifunctional drilling machine, electric driver, small pistol drill, which is going at 2,848 ngwe. This is how much you might need to spend on this particular drilling machine. But this is not the only commodity item we're taking a look at when it comes to construction commodities. We also have the Retavis RB 48P walkie-talkie, and this is a dual PTT heavy-duty radio for construction. It is going at 2,757. These are the construction commodity updates and prices that are brought to you by the Zambia National Building Society, ZNBS. After this, let's take a look at the commodity items for the food and the non-food items. Well, for the food and the non-food items, here's how much you might need to spend on some of these commodities. And we start off with the food items. Beef, 1 kg is going at 110 kwacha, and 2.5 kg of sugar is selling between 67 and 70 kwacha. For sugar, which is 1 kg, slightly lower than the previous one, it's going at 35 and 37, in between that range. But for flour, 2.5 kg is selling at 89 kwacha. 5 kg Nakonda rice is selling between 175 and 190 kwacha. And a tray of eggs is selling between 95 and 115. And cooking oil, 2.5 liters is in between 164 and 180, while 5 liters is in between 260 and 300. For breakfast meal, 10 kgs at 130 and 115 between the range, but for 25 kgs in between 260 and 310. For roller millimill, 10 kgs in between 100 and 120, but for 25 kg it's in between 225 and 240. That's how much these food items are going to cost you if you have to spend on them. But let's also take a look at the non-food items. We start with toilet paper. 10 rolls are costing 85 kwacha, while 175 grams of toothpaste are in between 37 and 40. A bar of multi-purpose soap is in between 35 and 45, while 500 grams of washing powder is in between 40 and 45. 1.5 kg is in between 115 and 125. 3.5 kg is in between 220 and 265. But a bar of bathing soap is in between 19 kwacha and 47 kwacha. And a look at hand wash, 750 mils, is selling at 45 kwacha. Well, those are your commodity prices for the food items, the non-food items, the construction commodities, and also the money markets that we had for you today on the Business News Update tonight. Thank you for watching. After this, we'll continue with the Diamond News Desk.
Business News was brought to you by Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank. Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank, making tomorrow possible.
Do you smell that? That is the beautiful aroma of a beautifully seasoned news desk. And that is what we provide to you, because the secret recipe here does lie in the determination of our news team. My name is Tapuan Ngoma here on the news desk at 8. Let's take a look at more stories that are making headlines this evening as we dive into more of these stories. Leading us now is a story going all the way to Chipata, and an overflow of expectant mothers at the Chipata Central Hospital's mother waiting shelter has forced the facility to set up tents amid growing concerns over congestion. The shelter, designed for just 40 patients, is currently hosting more than 100 mothers. Matilda Piri, an expectant mother, shared her distress over the lack of space, describing the situation as uncomfortable and unsafe. However, Medical Superintendent Dr. Mbinga says the construction of a new 100-bed shelter is underway, funded through the Constituency Development Fund. Meanwhile, the Pentecostal Assemblies of God Blessed Hope has donated assorted items worth 15,000 kwacha to support the mothers.
At Chipata Central Hospital, hope and hardship share the same space. Here, dozens of expectant mothers across 20 constituencies of Eastern Province squeeze into these shelters meant for only 40 people. Some even sleep in a converted kitchen. The hospital has even mounted a tent to accommodate some other women. Matilda Piri, one of the mothers, whispers her fear. We don't sleep safely here. We sleep like we are in prison. We hope something can be done for us, she said. She narrates the everyday struggle at the mother's shelter. We have so many people coming in and a few going out. We need support so that we can have better shelter and sanitation as well, she says. But amid the struggle, there is a light. Dr. Mbinga assures that a new, bigger shelter is coming.
Very much aware about the challenges of especially infrastructure, because when you have an infrastructure which sits, 40 beds, and then you stretch it to twice that number or even below, or even beyond, it obviously becomes a problem. It constrains their comfort. And of course, moving with a directive of our president that demands that each and every proposed facility must have a mother shelter. And as I speak to you right now, we have gotten approval from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to build us a modern mother shelter, which will ensure that we can accommodate all our mothers. And we've pegged the bed capacity to 100, which is more than double the current sitting,
The church is aware of the different struggles and have come to support these women with assorted items.
So we need to support one another, and so that we preach a holistic gospel to everyone. And this is also an answering to the message the Lord Jesus Christ himself said, I was sick in the hospital, you never visited me. I was poor, you never gave. And so there are so many other challenges, and the church is not an island, and therefore it has to support government effort.
The hospital is appreciative of the support, so are the mothers.
We really appreciate partners coming in to support them. Okay, so when partners come, the churches, other organizations, NGOs, and they come to provide meals for them, to provide soap, to provide this and that, to help them in the day-to-day care. That is much, much appreciated, because it makes their life a bit more bearable as they stay with us.
We thank you for this support you have made to us as a church. Continue supporting women here, as they have so many challenges they are facing, she says. Samuel Sylvester Kwawe, Diamond News, Eastern Zambia.
Police have launched an investigation after a woman was found dead early Tuesday morning in Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound. The body of 31-year-old Nalishebo Sikundu was discovered naked near the United Church of Zambia at around 05 hours. Eyewitnesses have reported that the deceased was last seen the previous night around 21 hours, appearing intoxicated. According to police spokesperson Ray Hamonga, bruises were found around the deceased's neck, suggesting possible strangulation. He says torn clothing believed to belong to the victim was recovered near the scene.
Residents of Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound Tuesday morning woke up to the sight of a naked body lying behind their homes at around 05 hours. The residents have described the incident as shocking and disturbing, especially that no noise was heard throughout the night. Speaking to Diamond News, Ruth Mutambo, one of the residents, narrates the ordeal.
Kulimsikana mimi nankala kusereza nyamuga tabwata pemazi kupompa pompi. So pamena apita nde pamena peza timsikana okufa kuseri bamugoneka chintako bamuvula no kabdula no chani. So sinazeva mine vize vachitikako. Then pamene bantu abura mukutamba epe bambo chite explain na tomsikana mero kuma 21 hours eze parodi pajezo koleweze nkale. So from there after tabura mukugona ise tabata peza body ili kuseri pa nyumba pato. So stizo bamene bamuleta uku na bamene vachitika stizo until bando chita report police balando diwatu. After bachita report ndemo no akapokola babwera mukupima bapeza ti uya mtu no kufa.
This is very strange. Like it has never happened in my watch. So it is very disheartening, especially that the person who's died is young.
And other residents have attributed the number of attacks in the area to load shedding and heavy alcohol consumption, urging young people, especially females, to refrain from alcohol abuse.
Alcohol it is, and the fact that we live in an environment which isn't safe, understand, right? And it's not really safe for like women, I would say female girls. Yeah, it's not really safe for them to be moving around late at night, precisely when they are drunk.
Meanwhile, Police Public Relations Officer Ray Hamonga says Kalingalinga police officers, following a call from members of the public, visited the scene around 05:30 and confirmed the presence of a dead female adult.
The body was naked and in a state of rigor mortis. Notable observations included hematomas around the neck area suggestive of possible strangulation. A pair of torn underwear believed to belong to the deceased was found in 2 separate pieces near the body.
The body has since been transported to the University Teaching Hospital mortuary, where it awaits a post-mortem examination to establish the actual cause of death, and an inquiry file has since been opened. Cherish Sibote for Diamond News.
Frustration is mounting at Kasima Bulk Market in Lungu District, Western Province, as traders expressed discontent over poor business conditions and inadequate trading space. Nearly 3 weeks after being relocated from Kashumba Market, formerly situated on privately owned land, traders at Kasima have begun voicing their concerns through protest songs, warning of a return to their previous location if authorities fail to intervene. The traders are calling for urgent action from local authorities to address the challenges affecting their livelihoods at the new market site.
Charged with emotion, traders at Kasima Bulk Market in Lungu District of Western Province have composed songs of protest, signaling their growing impatience with the current state of the market. They say since relocating from Kashumba, business has drastically slowed down. Some vegetable trading spaces remain unoccupied, with one trader explaining that the absence of a storeroom has made it impossible for many to operate. These vegetable stands are empty because people do not have space where they can store their vegetables. Some of them have resorted to staying home, while others have started going back to Kashumba Market. She said. Adding to their frustration, trucks from Kaoma and Mumbwa are reportedly bypassing the bulk market and heading straight to Kashumba, where trade is slowly picking up again. The trucks that bring goods here are bypassing us. They're still going to Kashumba Market. If only they could be blocked, she said. The Lungu District Commissioner Morgan Akabeswa assured them that their concerns have been heard and that everything missing was being put into place.
You'll be the first one to approve it. Man, go to the one of the business money.
Now, the traders are warning if nothing is done, they'll pack up and return to Kashumba Market, where business has started mushrooming again. Reporting for Diamond News in Lungu District of Western Province, Christine Musole.
How about we let that story simmer as we take a break? More stories marinating when we get back. Welcome back. You're watching the Diamond News Desk at 8 with me, Tapiwa Ngoma. Let's whisk away at more stories that are leading on the news desk. A university teaching hospital medical doctor has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court that possible rape or sexual assault cannot be ruled out in a matter where renowned clergyman John Nundwe of Miracle Impact International, also known as Bishop John General, is accused of rape. In this matter, Pastor Nundwe is facing 1 count of rape contrary to the laws of Zambia, stemming from an alleged incident on November 22nd, 2023, in which he is accused of raping a Lusaka resident without her consent. The incident allegedly took place at the victim's home in the Kahale area, where the bishop had gone to offer prayers following the victim's series of miscarriages. When the matter came up before Magistrate Ami Masoja of continued trial, Dr. Rokia Jinwala testified that based on her conclusion, the victim was menstruating at the time of the incident and took a bath before going to the hospital, which may have washed away any fluids. As a result, the swab test for spermatozoa returned negative.
A medical doctor from the University Teaching Hospital has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court that possible rape or sexual assault cannot be ruled out in a case involving renowned clergyman John Nundwe, also known as Bishop John General, of Miracle Impact International. Pastor Nondo is facing one count of rape in connection with an alleged incident on November 22, 2023. He is accused of raping a Lusaka woman at her matrimonial home in the Kahale area, where he had gone to offer prayers following her repeated miscarriages. When the matter came up before Magistrate Ami Masoja, Dr. Rokia Genwal, a 57-year-old pediatrician and head of UTH's Gender-Based Violence Unit, testified that the victim was on her menstrual period, which may have washed away any fluids. She noted that in 80 to 90% of such cases involving sexually active women, visible injuries are rare. Dr. Ginwala has added that the victim had bathed and changed her clothes before reporting to the hospital. A genital examination showed no fresh injuries, and a swab test for sperm was negative. The hymen appeared normal for a sexually active woman. She has told the court no sperm was found, which could mean there was no ejaculation, especially as the victim was allegedly caught in the act by her husband. The doctor has also stated that the victim arrived at the hospital around midnight and appeared distressed and traumatized. While she had no visible injuries, there was an odd bikini-lined scar from a 2020 surgical procedure. Dr. Ginwala further testified that the medical findings did not corroborate the victim's account. During cross-examination, she has confirmed that the medical report showed no abnormalities and agreed there is insufficient medical evidence to confirm that the rape had occurred. However, she has acknowledged that she did not record the scar in the official document. The matter has been adjourned to July 30th, 2025 for continued trial. Best Jerry, Diamond News.
Thank you, Bess, for that story. That swiftly leads us to the end of this bulletin. The Diamond News Desk truly is a gourmet of news, offering you a buffet of stories that are factual and well-balanced. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Tapiwa Ngoma, and as always, it's always a pleasure bringing you these stories. Do join us for another bulletin at 6 a.m., and other news stories do follow throughout the day tomorrow. From now, it's God bless and have a good evening.